Thank you for allowing me to share a few words. It's truly a pleasure to be here tonight. My father has been a past Grand Knight and spent so many years in the Knights of Columbus. Myself growing up, he enjoyed the great friendships, the great family, and the contributions they made to the community. So I was telling somebody earlier that even in his failing health, he always made a point to come to Civic Night and the Knights of Columbus dinner. So, in fact, the pre-reception that they have with the past Grand Knights before the function, my dad started that as a tradition. So, I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to honor the Knights for the contribution they make to the community and listen to individuals like Judge Walsh and the contributions they make. Thank you.
Hi there to KADY-TV. I'm here at the Knights of Columbus celebration for Columbus Day. Knights of Columbus has been an amazing organization that's filled with civic leaders, filled with people that want to make a difference in the community. And I love this event the most because young people serve us from one of the local schools. So hope you enjoy it and have a great night.
Good evening. My name is Tom Laubacher. I'm past Grand Knight of Council 750. And I'm glad you're watching, and welcome to Civic Night. Civic Night is an event that the Knights of Columbus have put on for as long as I can remember. I used to come down when I was a young child, when the old-timers used to have this dinner up on B Street and the upstairs old hall. And so I know it's been going on since before '64 when they moved over here. This is our night to honor the elected officials, the public officials and leaders of Ventura County, particularly Oxnard and Port Hueneme. And it's our way of saying thank you for all the work they do, for the dedication and the time and effort to make our city and the surrounding communities a better place.
Hi, John Zaragoza, Supervisor for the 5th District, and I'm here today with the Knights of Columbus 750. Tonight is Civic Night, and Civic Night is so important to all of us here in our country, in the country of USA. You know, it's Columbus Day today, and we celebrate it every time that Columbus Day comes around, or every year that it comes around, to be more specific. And we always have a guest speaker, and today we have an excellent guest speaker that's going to speak to us on some of the court systems and how the whole criminal justice works. But I'm really happy to be here today, you know, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, on behalf of the 5th District, to celebrate Columbus Day here at 750 for the Knights of Columbus. And thank you so much.
Hi, this is Carmen Ramirez, and I'm very happy to be here tonight at the Knights of Columbus Civic Night, and in a wonderful group of people with a great organization that's been here since 1903, makes our city proud, and we should all thank the Knights and their ladies for being out here doing a great job for our city. Thank you for this opportunity.
I'm here tonight because the Knights of Columbus are a wonderful organization. They're a service organization, and there are many young people who have learned to provide service in their community and know the importance of it because of the Knights of Columbus. In fact, they train the young people at an early age to be a part of the community and serve the community. So I wouldn't miss this Civic Night that they award us and honor us, because I want to honor and let them know how much I appreciate them in the community.
Hi, I'm Julia Brownlee, and I'm so happy to be here tonight as the Assembly member here representing the great city of Oxnard, and to be here for this very, very important celebration, 109 years that the Knights of Columbus have been here in Oxnard and been giving and contributing to this really important community, taking care of our youth and our seniors. This is a great night of celebration, and I am very, very delighted to be here as and partake in the celebration. So thank you very, very much.
Grand Knight. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our Deputy Grand Knight, Mr. Jim Lovato, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Boy, we can tell we got a lot of old timers here. Everybody stood. Please face the flag and follow with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim.
Please remain standing. At this time, I'd like to bring forward Father Hughes, who will lead us in an opening prayer for tonight. Father Hughes.
So glad to be here, and I know how it is. The hardest thing for me to do is to continue standing. It ain't funny. But we can pray in so many positions, and so if anybody's uncomfortable, please get in another position. Because we should be comfortable in praying to our Almighty Father for the blessing in thanksgiving, in petition, in confession of faith and morals. Something that is being so challenged today in our government. And we need guidance for our leaders, and so that they can help direct us better to help us fulfill all the things that God calls us to be with our many blessings that He has blessed us with. And we ask Him now to continue to bless us, O Lord, and these your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
It's okay to applaud our Father. Father, thank you very much, Father. Thank you. Typically at this time, we would go ahead and start serving dinner, but we're going to hold off just by a few minutes. I still going to need your attention, if I may. As you know, we're in the midst of a very busy season, so some people have to come, some people have to go. At this time, with great honor and pleasure, introduce to you Assemblywoman for the 31st District, Ms. Julia Brownlee, would like to make a small, quick presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Julia Brownlee.
Thank you very, very much, and it's really nice to be here with all of you this evening to celebrate 109 years of really, really wonderful work and community service that the Knights of Columbus does, not only here in Oxnard, but throughout our state and throughout our country. And I wanted to come this evening because this is such a special evening, and I know this particular chapter, Council 750, has been here in Oxnard for a very, very long time. I think even longer than the city of Oxnard has been, and has been here for that period of time, giving and giving and giving to the community, making sure that this is a healthy community, that our youth is taken care of, that our seniors are taken care of, and we take care of each other. And so tonight I wanted to come and present this resolution on behalf of the state of California and the state legislature, and my last year of representing you here in the Assembly with this resolution honoring your work, honoring today's 109th celebration, and honoring the great community of Oxnard. And so it is my greatest privilege on behalf of the state of California to present you with this California Assembly resolution.
Wow. Well, that was very, very nice. I was not expecting that, but that's a very beautiful gift from our Assembly. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the Council, Council 750, and our past Grand Knights, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. With that being said, please, somebody knock on that door. Let's get our food out. Everybody stay in your places. They'll be served. We're very fortunate tonight to have the ambassadors from Santa Clara High School serving our food. Santa Clara. And as I just said that, walking in the back room is our principal, Dr. Edward Robaloy. Thank you, Doctor. So we'll start with the dinner. Thank you very much. Stay tuned, and maybe we'll hear a little bit more music from the jazz band, the little jazz band. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know the meal's going pretty good. I know we still have dessert on the table, but we're going to move forward with tonight's program as we move forward. As the Santa Clara students, the ambassadors, move forward with the desserts, we're going to continue with the program itself. There's a little portion here that we want to take care of. But before we do, in the house, we do have some very key people we want to acknowledge really quick. From the Knights of Columbus, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to acknowledge our District Deputy, Tony Hernandez, is in the house. Tony Hernandez, thank you. The Knights of Columbus also has a representative from our Supreme Office back from New Haven, Connecticut. He's our field agent. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Robles is with us. Daniel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Also representative from our Supreme Office. He's here in our council. He's our Financial Secretary, Robert Ortega. Robert, thank you. And earlier you heard him do the Pledge of Allegiance. He's one of our officers, one of our chair officers. Ladies and gentlemen, in the front, our Deputy Grand Knight, Jim Lovato. Jim. At this time, it's with great honor and pleasure to turn the microphone over at this time to our Master of Ceremonies. He's a very special person at this hall. In fact, he's one of our past Grand Knights. He's also, this is very important, he's also the recipient of the honorary Bob Duffy Award recipient for 2011, 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome past Grand Knight Chris Moore. Chris.
Thank you, worthy Grand Knight. Welcome all to Oxnard Council 750 Civic Night 2012. Looks to be a house full of citizens, and we at 750 truly appreciate your being here with us tonight. Is this better? More better?
More better to the center.
How's that? Anyway. The 2012 election campaigning is in full swing. Yesterday, a medical marijuana group officially endorsed President Obama for president. Doesn't really help Obama, though, because they were getting around to endorsing him for 2008. Earlier this year, Mitt Romney just barely won the Republican primary in Ohio by 1%. Then Romney made the mistake of saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is victory for the 1%. And after last week's debate, the president checked to see if butt kicking was covered under Obamacare. Before our gathering tonight, we had another gathering over at the house of Byron and Sue Wiedemeyer, and we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Byron and Sue for putting on this gathering of past Grand Knights. It's an old-time tradition, and we're restoring that. And again, thanks Byron and Sue. We have several distinguished guests and dignitaries with us tonight. I'd like to take the time right now and introduce them, if I may. Daniel Martinez, City Clerk, City of Oxnard. John Sharkey, City Councilman, City of Fort Wayne. Bob Roper, former Ventura County Fire Chief. Bob. Good to see you, Bob. He was a regular attendee at our public safety nights over the years. Arlene Fraser is here tonight, the director of the Navy League of the United States. Arlene. There you are. Hey, good to see you. Sean Peroski, field rep. Senator Tony Strickland. Sean, are you still here? Busy man, they have left. Gary Davis. He's a guest and he's a candidate for the Oxnard Union High School District Governing Board. Alan Holmberg, City Attorney, City of Oxnard. Karen Burnham, Interim City Manager, City of Oxnard. Hi, Karen. Deborah Amalia, Disaster Coordinator, City of Oxnard. Saul Medina, Planning Commissioner, City of Oxnard. Saul. Larry Stein is with us, former chairman of Lemonwood Council. Michael Omalia, Interim Fire Chief, City of Oxnard. Michael, thanks for being here. Martin Jones, Chairman of the INCF. Martin. Jerry Williams, Oxnard Police Chief. Jerry. Ray De La Torre, retired U.S. Air Force. Ray. Carmen Ramirez, City Council, Oxnard. Carmen. Dr. Irene Pinkard, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Oxnard. Marty Mayer, Oxnard Police Department. Marty, are you here? There's Marty. Got some notice there. Dr. Edward Robillard, Principal, Santa Clara High School. Tom Holden, Mayor of Oxnard. Tom. And I've got a name here I can't quite read. I'm going to give it a shot. And Dick from the Oxnard High School District, the president. Hawkins. Hawkins. Dick. Hey. I'm sorry, Dick. We received a note from an Oxnard City Councilman. There it is. Brian McDonald, which I'd like to read to you. Worthy Grand Knight, brother knights and guests, thanks so much for the invitation to attend public Civic Night tonight, sponsored by Council 750. Oftentimes, it seems that public servants are taken for granted, so it is wonderful that the Knights offer this event as a way of saying thank you to those that serve. I look forward to these events and try to attend as many as possible. Unfortunately, I am committed on Monday nights to a class at Ventura College. I've been a part-time instructor for 30 years, and this event falls on the class's midterm exams. Please accept my sincere apologies for not being able to attend, and my heartfelt appreciation to all the invited honorees for your service to our community. So he extends that to you all. At this time, I'd like to ask our Deputy Grand Knight, Jim Lovato, to come up and give us a little info on our upcoming events here at the council.
Yay, Jim!
I stutter when I talk. Again. We have some announcements we'd like to let you know about that we're performing at our Council 750. We're having a family rosary this month every Thursday night at 7. We're having it also on the 27th. Am I dead? No, I'm still alive. Somebody's got a magnet in here. My pacemaker's fluttering. Santa Clara High School is having an auction and dinner. And Dr. Robley, would you please come up here and say a few words?
Good evening. This event is being put on by the Alumni Association of Santa Clara High School. It's a dinner this October 27th. It's a Saturday. It'll be at the school. There'll be several items we're going to cover at this dinner. One is we're going to induct 4 people into the Hall of Fame. Monsignor John, some of you know. He's also the chaplain of Santa Clara High School, graduate of 76. Coach C, Lou Cianovich, and Deacon Joe and Betty Kennedy. We'll also be having a dinner auction, live auction, silent auction, raffle, lots of items. I go to the meetings, the committee's doing a great job getting a lot of items. So Christmas is coming up. It's all for raising money for tuition assistance for our students. And we found out a week ago from the Catholic Education Foundation, which does a great job raising tuition assistance for our students. Raising tuition. No, they're on the other side of the equation. But they have a special, last week they came out with a special promotion. Every dollar we raise from now until February, they will match dollar for dollar. So we really could use your help. The tickets are $35. Teresa Palmisano is our marketing director in the back. Please stand up, Teresa. We've got some tickets for you if you want to see us at the end of the evening. And Teresa, by the way, is the student ambassadors tonight. That's her little group that helps her promote the school. So thank you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.
And I was afraid we had a doctor in the house and I didn't realize it. Okay, we've got a movie night on October the 19th from The Greatest Glory. And that'll be at 7 o'clock. It's free. And what did you say?
Great movie.
Oh, great movie. October the 28th is a very exciting event here. It is called the Children's Halloween Party. And we're expecting a very large turnout. It's open to the public if you would like to join us on this. I know Halloween is nothing like it used to be when I was a kid. You could get anything from anybody and you could eat it. So it's changed. Things have changed. So we're looking forward to a big night on that. We also, in November the 13th, we have a Veterans Night honoring our military personnel. And that should be it. Chris? Oh, I thought I said that. The 19th of October. I did say that. Okay.
19th of October. At this time, I'd like to ask our worthy Grand Knight to return up this way and make a few presentations. Worthy Grand Knight.
Thank you, Pastor Grand Knight. I get to do a little bit of presentations, but the MC leaves me this little part I wanted to have. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and pleasure to acknowledge in our hall a Brother Knight representing the 5th District of Ventura County, Supervisor John Zaragoza. John. Also with us is the president of the Flood Zone Justice Association, Bert Perello. Bert, thank you for being here today. And I'd like to introduce a very good friend of mine from the Oxnard School District, a neighbor of ours right down the street, Mr. Ernie Morrison. Ernie, thank you very much for being here today. And we don't always get to see him up front. He tends to be in the back room. He's a brother knight of ours, and yeah, we like him very much too. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Flynn's in the house. Tim, where are you at, Tim? Thank you for being here. And last but not least, this group has always been my favorite. And if you haven't seen them before, please acknowledge them. They are the foundation of this organization. Their faces are on the back of this wall, and they are known as our past Grand Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge our past Grand Knights. Grand Knights, please stand up, please. Past Grand Knights. Thank you very much, past Grand Knights. We've always enjoyed that. And also, one of our past Grand Knights is a deacon. Michael Hemmings is with us. Deacon, thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you. We haven't actually started our programs. You notice some are still eating their desserts, and we just want to move ahead a little bit quicker. But we have a couple of presentations we want to make to our members here in our hall. And these members are very special because they've been with us for a number of years. If you've been a member for at least 25 years, if you paid your dues, and if you're over 70 years old, you get an honorary lifetime membership, which means you no longer get billed. At this time, it's with great honor and pleasure to introduce and have him come forward our brother knight, Francis Greeny. Francis, come on up, Francis. 25 years of service. Thank you. Come on up. I told you to sit in the front. You wouldn't listen.
Can't walk that far.
Brother Knight, it is a great honor on behalf of Council 750 to give you your card. This entitles you to no more membership fees. If you get billed by Robert Ortega,
I'll donate it.
You donate it. That's very good. Congratulations. Thank you very, very much. We have another card. This gentleman as well, 25 years of service. He barely passed that 70-year mark. And this man really did help us just recently. I took over as this position of Grand Knight. It's a very special position. I'm very humbled to have this position, very fortunate to represent this council. But those who are members know we have 3 different chairs, or little tables that we use for our meetings. You have a table for your chancellor, you have a table for your deputy Grand Knight, you have a table for your warden. Well, the table for the warden has been missing for a number of years. Nobody knows what happened to it. All we know, we only had 2 tables. And one past Grand Knight who's here tonight, and I won't mention his name, but he said, Grand Knight, you don't have a table. Well, I'm not Grand Knight yet. Well, you don't have a table. I'm not Grand Knight yet. Well, you should have had a table. Well, how long has it been gone? At least 6, 7 years. Let me count back. It looks like you were a Grand Knight during that time. You didn't take care of that table. Well, that's okay, it's okay. So anyway, it worked out really good, but when I did come close to that period of time, I was able to make contact with a friend. I call him a friend. I went to school with his kids. And he's a craftsman, a wood craftsman. And he's an expert. He took the time to build us that table, and he duplicated that table to a T. Beautiful work itself, and we're so happy to have it presented. You actually will see it in your lands. And if you don't have your lands, see Robert Ortega. He'll give you a copy of the lands. But we have a beautiful table, and he took the time to make this. And this gentleman made it 25 years. It's with great honor and pleasure to acknowledge and have come forth our member, Brother Knight Harold H. Stewart. Stu. Don't hit me. On behalf of Council 750, it's with great pleasure to extend to you the honorary lifetime membership card. If you should get billed by the financial secretary, just let me know and I'll tell the trustees and we'll get them.
I'll be able to put gas in my car now.
There we go. And one last award we want to give out. This one's a little more sentimental on the sentimental side. Sometimes we make mistakes in this hall. What's nice about the Knights of Columbus, we can also admit to our mistakes. And when you stand before a priest, you sometimes do a little confession. And so I have no problem confessing this one. We made a little error back in 1973. A member should have received a 25-year pin. And there was a little small dispute of months. And that individual left us, left this house, left this hall. It was the work of a field agent who convinced this member to come back home. And he did. He came back, and he's been with us since. And I knew we were going to correct that wrong. With the help of our financial secretary, we went through the records, we found it. No hesitation. This man deserves his 25-year pin. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and pleasure to give this 25-year pin that's long overdue to our brother knight, John Ramirez. Come on down, John. That's you, John. Brother Knights. This is your pin. On behalf of Council 750, it's with honor and pleasure to give you a 25-year pin that was long overdue, brother.
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Thank you, Grand Knight, and all the members of the 750 Council, and congratulations to the people who received their awards tonight. I was gone for a long time, but I always kept the Knights of Columbus in my heart. And several of the council members approached me during that time to come back, and I always put it off and put it off. I don't know why, but this insurance agent came to me and asked me how come I hadn't come back. And I said, because it was a personal item, and apparently the information was taken wrong at the beginning, and it was in 1948 that I joined the Knights of Columbus, and I thought I deserved my pin, but apparently, according to the information, I was not. But it was my personal heart feeling that it was wrong, so I left the organization, and but I came back, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
At this time, we're about done with our dessert. Before I turn this back over to our Master of Ceremonies, was that food good or not? Well, how was that food? At this time, I'd like to introduce our kitchen crew. Please, the kitchen crew, come on to the front, we acknowledge you real quick. Good, there you go. Kitchen crew. Sal Godoy has been the chef council for a number of years. He's done an excellent job with Angel and Rick Frennis, and Hector jumps in as well, and all we've done, Mike jumps in, everybody jumps in. We have a couple of new members as well jump in, Hyman and Richard. They work hard to get everything ready. And you know, you have no idea what we have to do to get that place just right to make sure we get that health permit. Is that right, Rick? Yeah. And some of them say, hey, we're good, we're good. But also we're joined tonight by the youth of our community, and this is what we call our future of our community. And I'm very, very happy that the ambassadors of Santa Clara High School came out and helped us tonight. Santa Clara High School ambassadors. do a quick photo here. There you go. Very good. With that, thank you very much. Let's turn over the microphone back to Chris Moore, our past Grand Night. You're back on, Chris.
Great bunch. I am truly honored to be your Master of Ceremonies tonight, joining past Brother Knights, whose names you may know: Jack Waterman, Norm Brecky, Nick Strangio, and Ralph Borchard, just to name a few who have performed this duty. Council 750, as you heard earlier tonight, was established in 1903, making it the third oldest Knights of Columbus Council in the state of California. Over the years, we have been fortunate to have as our Civic Night guest speakers civic leaders of great accomplishment, including California Governor Pat Brown, Congressman Elton Gallegly, Congresswoman Lois Katz, Assemblyman Now Takasugi, Council 750 brothers Judge William Clark and Supervisor John Flynn, Mayor Tom Holden, and of course, in 1965, Ronald Reagan. I think he stood right here during his presentation back in '65. These past Civic Night speakers were representative of men and women who were aware of their civic responsibility. They were communicators. They promoted opportunities for the giving of financial and human resources to better their communities. They sought and embraced values that benefited society. Tonight, we are fortunate to have with us, filling the guest speaker's shoes, Ventura County Superior Court Judge Harry Walsh. Judge Walsh has been a respected member of our legal community for over 40 years, the last 15 as a judge of the Ventura Superior Court. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, and graduated from Stanford University with a bachelor's degree and a commission as second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. Judge Walsh attended Loyola Law School, passed the bar, and worked as a trial lawyer specializing in defense personal injury cases. Governor Pete Wilson, another past guest speaker as senator in 1991, appointed Judge Walsh to the bench in 1998, where he has served faithfully ever since, presiding over civil and family law matters, as well as occasional criminal overflow. Judge Walsh is a member of the Ventura County Inns of Court, an organization which brings judges and lawyers of all experience levels together for the betterment of the legal profession. Judge Walsh is a past president of Catholic Charities of Ventura County, and he and his wife, Deanna, are members of San Buenaventura Mission Parish over in Ventura. And Judge Walsh was recently recognized at this spring's Council 750 Public Safety Night for his service to our community. Judge Walsh, please come up, give us your thoughts on a most appropriate topic of civil duty. Judge Walsh.
Thank you, Chris, for that introduction. You've managed to make a great deal out of very little. The only correction I want to give you is this. I am a member of the Mission Parish in Ventura. My wife is a good God-fearing Presbyterian, and she would like me to make that clarification clear.
It makes for interesting dinner table conversation. Some of my colleagues threatened to be here tonight, and apparently they lost their invitation because I don't see them out there. But they all told me the same thing. Harry, don't talk too long. And that's good advice whether you're a preacher, a speaker, or a candidate. We're here tonight to honor public officials and elected officials. I've been a judge for 14 years, and that qualifies me to be a public official. Judges, however, are also elected officials, although that's not an obvious part of the job. But it's that election aspect that I want to talk to you about tonight. There are 28 Superior Court judges in this county. 4 of us got the job originally by winning an election, but the other 24, myself included, were appointed to the job by the governor. And you may wonder, how does that happen? Well, we actually have 2 court systems in California, the state court system and the federal court system. I'm a trial judge in the state system. My counterpart in the federal system is a trial court judge in the federal district court. The state system has a network of appeals courts. The state system has its own network of appeals courts. State system has a Supreme Court. Federal system has the Supreme Court in Washington. There are differences in the types of cases that each of these parallel systems hear, and there are also differences in how the judges get their job. In the federal system, all of the judges are appointed by the president and effectively for life. The men who wrote the Constitution wanted to be sure that in making their decisions, judges would not be influenced by the pressure of politics, and that they would have the freedom to make an unpopular decision without the fear of losing their job. And an example of how that can happen occurred in Los Angeles in the late 1960s. Alfred Gittleson was a Superior Court judge in Los Angeles who ruled that the LA Unified School District was required to implement a busing plan to ensure racial balance in the schools. It was not a popular decision. At the next election, somebody saw an opportunity, filed an election challenge to Judge Gittleson, and beat him somewhat handily. Under the federal system, that couldn't happen because the appointment's for life, and that was the reason for the making of the rule. But the other side of the coin is this. If you get a judge who's not cutting it, how do you get rid of him or her? In the federal system, the answer is by impeachment. But that can be a cumbersome process. It occurs only very infrequently. One of the last federal judges to be impeached was a man named Alcee Hastings. Judge Hastings was a trial court in a federal trial court in Florida about 10 years ago. He was charged with taking a bribe of $150,000 in return for giving a criminal defendant a light sentence. Incidentally, that's something judges should not do. He was impeached by the House of Representatives, convicted by the Senate, but he was only the 6th federal judge to be impeached in over 200 years. The former Judge Hastings went home to Miramar, Florida, ran for the House of Representatives, and won. Hard to say who had the last laugh there. But the question remains, what do you do if you get an inept or a dishonest judge? In virtually all of the state court systems, the answer to that is some sort of an election process. In some states, that process is highly political, with millions of dollars being spent recently in West Virginia of all places, on an election for a seat on the state Supreme Court. Within the last couple of years, the Iowa Supreme Court ruled that same-sex marriage was illegal. 3 of the justices who voted that way received an election challenge at the next election. They all lost. The campaign against them was financed by close to $5 million, and most of that came from out of state. Good thing, bad thing, it happened. One of the lingering questions that it brings is this: how objective is the judge going to be if one of his campaign backers is involved in a case on his assignment? Here in California, the election process means this. Trial judges such as myself are appointed for 6-year terms. Every 6 years, we're election eligible. For 10 days at the end of February and into early March, someone can file a challenge. That someone needs 3 qualifications. First, he or she needs to be a lawyer. Secondly, he or she needs to have been a lawyer for 10 years. And third, his or her check for the filing fee has to clear the bank. It isn't a very high bar, and I can tell you the appointment process is much more rigorous with multi-level interviews and evaluations. And most of the time, challenges to sitting judges are not filed. Before this year, the last challenge to a sitting judge in this county went back probably 20 or 25 years. But let's go to 2012, and I'll tell you about my experience at being a candidate in an election. I had filed my papers on the first day of the filing period, fully expecting that no one would file a challenge to me. I had not required school busing. I had not ruled on gay marriage. I had and have not accepted any bribes. I was ready to roll into another 6-year term and had arranged to go out that night with my wife to dinner. So about 4:45 on the last day of the filing period, myself and the other 6 judges who were election eligible were a little nervously getting ready to high-five each other. And my secretary walks up to me and says, "I need to talk to you." I separate myself from the group, and she says, "They just called from the elections division. You got a challenge." It was like having a ton of bricks dropped on you. I'm 68 years old. I had no plans to retire. Being a judge has been the best job that I've ever had, and I wanted to leave when I was ready and not be kicked out the door. So I called my wife and I said, put a pot roast in the oven, we're not going out. And understand, as part of my past, I had never been in an election, not for student council, not for fraternity house president, not for anything. So what to do? Well, there's an impulse to go to bed, pull the covers up over your head, and never come out. I got over that. And as the Beatles said, I get by with a little help from my friends. And in my case, I got by with a lot of help from my friends, some of whom were colleagues, some were not. 2 of them that I have to mention are the county treasurer, Steve Hintz, who's a retired judge, former colleague and a friend. And the second was Mike Case, a very successful attorney in Ventura, but an unsuccessful challenger to Elton Gallagher several years ago. I didn't care that he lost. I cared that he knew the process and was willing to help. Even with help, elections are scary things. They are expensive. For example, you know all those annoying signs that you see all over the place during an election campaign? In a countywide election such as mine was, that's a $10,000 expense. A website in this day and age is a virtual necessity. That's another $3,000 or $4,000. And it goes on from there. Elections are stressful. I was regularly waking up at 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning and lost about 12 pounds. That was not a bad thing, and it all came very quickly back. And for those of you who don't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I can tell you it's a nice time of day. You can fold the laundry, make your lunch, do the ironing. I mean, there are lots of constructive things that can be done. But as one of my colleagues who had been through the process told me, you will meet interesting people. And that was true. There was the guy at the Simi Valley Street Fair who wanted to know what I was going to do about illegal immigration. Didn't have much of an answer for him. But of the people I met, many of them are in this room here today. I met Supervisor Bennett and his opponent, Bob Roper. I met John Zaragoza. I met Supervisor Foy, Supervisor Long. I met Tim Flynn. I met the mayor of Ventura, Mike Tracy, our former police chief. I met Carmen Ramirez. Carmen and I are friends from a long time back, and Irene Pinkert as well. So, I mean, you do meet interesting people. The one that I have to tell you I have the most affection for is the police chief in Port Hueneme, Kathy Sheehan. If you're a candidate for public office, you can't do it from the front porch. I mean, you've got to get out, you've got to meet people, you've got to see people, and it's an empty feeling when you've been invited to something and the person who has invited you isn't there yet. So you're walking into a room not knowing a soul. Kathy was always there with a smile and a kind word, and I've remembered that and will continue to remember it as time goes on. I went to 8 service club breakfasts or lunches, 4 community meetings of one sort or another, talked to 3 political clubs, went to 5 different bar association meetings and 3 street fairs. I learned what a rebozo is at the Rebozo Festival in Camarillo. But my absolute favorite was 2 Sundays before Election Day. I was at St. Paul's Baptist Church in Oxnard and the Bethel AME Church, also in Oxnard. Please understand that I was born, raised, and remained Catholic. So there I was, a white Irish Catholic talking to 2 predominantly black Protestant congregations. It was absolutely delightful. I came away with a new appreciation of the account of Jesus and the woman at the well, and an exposure to a style of preaching that is just not found in your average Catholic church. The result of all of this was very good. On Election Day, I got 80% of the vote, so I'm good to go through 2018. To those of you who voted for me, thank you each and every one. You made a good choice. For those of you who did not, we have secret ballot in this country, so I'm never going to know. All right, we're here tonight to honor public officials and elected officials. And I wanted to tell you how the election process worked, at least from my perspective. But whether an election is for a library trustee or a city council, for state legislature, or for the United States Congress, all of the candidates are going through a rigorous process. Why do they do it? Well, personal ambition is certainly a part of it, but behind that is usually a desire to serve the community. And I want to give a boost to public officials, elected or not, and public employees. Serving the community goes back to the start of this country. George Washington had a very pleasant life at Mount Vernon. Then the Revolutionary War came along. Continental Congress said, "We need you," so he went. More recently, Mitt Romney's father was a very successful president of American Motors. He walked away from all of it to become a well-regarded governor of Michigan. I was appointed a judge in 1998, and before that I was in the private practice of law for 27 years, starting right up here at 520 West 5th Street in Oxnard. I mean, literally within walking distance of where we are now. One of the first lawyers that I met was Byron Wiedemeyer. That was 1971. There was a prevailing belief at the time that public officials and public employees were not quite up to the level of the people in the private sector. That attitude in me changed about a week after I first took the bench in July of 1998. The people closest to me are my secretary and my courtroom clerk. My secretary has easily been the equivalent of the best secretary I ever had in private practice, and my courtroom clerk was and remains a master of keeping me pointed in the right direction and making me look good. But these are tough times to be a public official or an elected official. We're coming under increased scrutiny about our salaries, the work we do, our pensions, our benefits, and our budgets. And this is not made from whole cloth. The City of Bell and the City of Vernon in Los Angeles County are painfully obvious examples of a system run amok. People with power and responsibility focused on the power aspect of it and made both shameful and secret decisions to benefit not the public they were supposed to serve, but themselves. And in spite of the legions of lawyers that will be defending Mr. Rizzo, there's really no defense for what he and his cohorts did. Former Police Chief Adams takes the Fifth Amendment 22 times when being questioned about his financial arrangements with the City of Bell. Now, as a judge, I'm fully schooled in the fact that people can take the Fifth Amendment, it's there for a purpose, and you shouldn't draw any adverse inferences from it. But that's sometimes a hard conclusion to reach when you see what Chief Adams was doing when being asked about his financial arrangements. These people were the public service equivalents of the masters of the universe on Wall Street who came close to shoving this country off a financial cliff. As public servants, we can sit back and say they were thieves and they are not our problem, but I think not. There are changes that need to be made with regard to public pensions, not the concept of a pension, but the ability to disproportionately juice it up through accrued vacation, overtime, and other means which, although perfectly legal, amount to an abuse of the system. We have to keep our eye on the ball. One of the things you sign on for when you take a public job or are elected to public office is that whatever your job is, it's also to serve the public. I'm not meaning to scold anybody by saying that, just to remind yourselves and myself that we should be motivated by a little bit more than taking a paycheck home every 2 weeks. We need to stay grounded. There was a judge I knew a long time before I was a judge. He's now dead. But someone asked him what it was like being a judge. And he said, you know, all day long, it's your honor this and your honor that. May it please the court this, may it please the court that. He said, then I go home and my wife says, Tim, will you take out the garbage? In my house, it's Harry, would you clean the cat boxes? But it's a good reality check. It's been 52 years. Some of you can remember this when Jack Kennedy told us, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Kennedy, as we found out, was not St. Jack, but it's still something worth remembering. Having said all of this, I want to almost finish by congratulating each one of you who is either a public official, a public employee, or an elected official. It's necessary work that you do, and often unappreciated by the people you serve. It is often noble work that you do, and I am proud to be one of you. Now, when I told you I got this, and this is the end, when I told you I got 80% of the vote, the background was, and some of the elected officials here know this, polls close at 8 o'clock. And by 8:15, you can get on your computer and access what the absentee returns are. So we're having a get-together at a restaurant in Ventura. A former employee of mine who's good with that computer stuff. I say, Jeff, find out what the numbers are. So he has his laptop and he's banging away at it. He says, you got 80% of the vote. I said, nobody gets 80% of the vote. Do it again. So comes back with the same number. I go home a happy camper. But I figure I'm not going to bed thinking I got 80% of the vote and wake up at 7 o'clock the next morning and find I only got 49%. So at 2:30, I'm up working the laptop, and the number stayed the same, so life was good after that. But what I got was 80% of 1/3 of the vote, because that's what the turnout was. 33% of those people eligible to vote voted. 67% never bothered to show up. Now we've got a general election coming up, and it should attract some interest. Got a presidential election at the top of the ticket. There's Proposition 30, the governor's tax proposal. Elton Gallagher's seat is open for the first time in, 20-something years. And Tony Strickland and Julia Brownlee have been knocking each other around pretty good to win that seat. So there's plenty there to be interested in to vote. But voting's a two-step process. You got to register, and then you got to vote. Registering can now be done online. You don't have to go to City Hall. You don't have to go to the election divisions in Ventura. You can do it online. And then the second part is you got to turn out on election day, and you don't even have to do that. If you want to apply for a mail ballot, you can do it at your kitchen table ahead of time. So, if you remember nothing else than what I have said tonight, understand that voting is not only a privilege, but it's a responsibility. And I want all of you to boost those percentages this year, because if all of you turn out and vote, the number is going to go up. Thank you very much.
Great job, Judge Walsh. Very informative and entertaining presentation. And I think you really did save the best for last as you advise us to register to vote and get out there, follow up your registration, and vote. And you have that civic responsibility to do that and get out there and do it. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic back over to our worthy Grand Knight, who has a few final words to present to you tonight. Thank you very much.
Let's give a good applause to our past Grand Knight, our MC for tonight, Chris Moore. Very well said, Judge. Thank you very, very much. You made it a very memorable night. Thank you very much itself. At this time, I'd like to ask our Deputy Grand Knight if you wouldn't mind joining me here at the podium. And our Financial Secretary, would you please help me out a little bit as well? A couple of our officers have taken ill. They could not be here tonight, so we're a little short, so I kind of like to have some fill in. Our junior past grand, our immediate past Grand Knight, Frankie Delgado, you please join us, please, in the front. Judge Walsh, would you please join us at the podium? Judge, we thank you very much for taking the time to be with us tonight. We know you have a very busy schedule, but you took the time to be with us at Council 750. And on behalf of Council 750, Knights of Columbus, we'd like to present to you this appreciation plaque and appreciate to Judge Harry Walsh, our distinguished speaker for Civic Night, October 8, 2012, presented to you on this day, October 8th. Judge, thank you very much. Thank you. You've been a good audience. Thank you. At this time, we're coming to the conclusion of our event, or evening. At this time, if I may, see if I can find him, our past Grand Knight, Robert Cruz, is going to help us close out with God Bless America. And for those who do not know the words, it's in your booklet. And Father Hughes, would you please help us with your piano? Father Hughes was here earlier today, believe it or not. We're trying to take care of some things here at the hall. And Father Hughes comes riding in on his bicycle. If you don't know him, he rides on his bicycle. And he finds me in the back room. He wants the piano. And he doesn't wait for me. He starts hauling the piano from the back room. And he got his he found the bench. And he took the piano apart. He wanted to tune it up. And that's what he did. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and turn this over to our past Grand Knight, Robert Cruz, who will close down prayer. Close down a closing song. Then we'll have a closing prayer. And those who are elected officials, please make your way to the front stage where you have a photo. Elected officials and appointed officials, please make your way to the front photo. With that, Pastor Grand Knight.
Yes. If you all please stand. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, may we swear allegiance to a land that's free. May we all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God
Father Hughes, can you close us out in prayer as he makes his way over from the piano? Please take your programs home tonight. Please take a look. We had some very generous sponsors this evening. Councilman Brian McDonald, thank you very much. Arlene Frazier, thank you very much. Councilwoman Carmen Ramirez, thank you very much. Mr. Bert Perello, thank you. Dr. Manuel Lopez, thank you. Thank you, Dick Hawkes. Thank you, Tim Flynn. Thank you, Elisa Pasuto. Thank you, Tom Laubacher. Thank you. And we thank everyone here. Father, it's on you. Our field agent, Daniel Robles, thank you very much for helping out as well. You better for sure find me a little bit more money. Father Hughes, close us out in prayer, sir.
What a wonderful evening. It's like old timers night. I'm getting to be one of the older timers. and so many have gone before. And I always tell people, well, no, I'm without them. But, even all my high school classmates, our last reunion was, I think, a couple of decades ago. And now they're all deceased. There were 43 of us at St. Joseph High in Omaha, Nebraska. And so you know what that means. They're all deceased. I'm next. Tape funny.
That's the Mohicans.
Yes. But thank God for life, for the life, the greatness of life, to promote life, to be part of promoting life. Life that is so sacred. The political life is sacred. Leadership, to lead others in the right way. Oh, what a responsibility. Judge knows that. And how hard it is to really be a part of the life that God wants us to lead, to be leaders. And we thank Him for our part, for the life He has given us, for the inspiration that He's given us this evening. As we pray, we give you thanks, O Lord, for all your benefits which we have received through your goodness, through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father Hughes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to Civic Night. Elected officials, please make your way to the front, and appointed officials and judge. What quite a little photo. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night and be safe.